Hey there, it's Pete C for Sample Live Review, and today I'm checking out Hammers and Waves by Skybox Audio. Hammers and Waves is a collection of 10 various modern keyboard instruments. While we all have our go-to pianos and keyboards, Hammers and Waves takes things into a whole new dimension. Firstly, the sampling is captured by humans but played by robots. Yes indeed, robots. This allows each key to have the same 16 dynamic layers, resulting in a smooth playing experience and unrivaled realism. Secondly, Skybox Audio have created a sonic playground where even the most seasoned sound designers will have an absolute ball in. There are a whole wealth of effects and even a built-in granular synth. With all of this content in mind, will Hammers and Waves become your new go-to for all things keyboard? Hammers and Waves downloads at 53.8 GB and features 10 keyboard instruments. All samples were performed by robots. There are 16 velocity layers, and it's for the free or full contact version 6.0.0 or better. Hammers and Waves is also NKS compatible. This normally sells for $389, but is currently on an intro sale for $249. Hammers and Waves is split into 4 different instruments. So the acoustic has the Modern Grand, Relic upright and UX upright in, and then if I open the chimes, you have the Dulcitone, the J Celeste and J Toy piano, and the electric has the EP 200A and the Suitcase 73. And then finally, the prepared has the muted Relic and Obscura Grand. So when you install it, and go through native access, you have 4 codes and 4 instruments. So very important just to clarify that. I've loaded up the Modern Grand patch, and this is straight out the box, and it's a Yamaha C6 conservatory piano. And before we go ahead looking at the instrument, I just want to play exactly what it sounds like, and it is like playing Velvet. And what makes it feel so great are the little tiny robots with their little tiny fingers. I have watched the video, and they're hammering away and creating these perfect increments of 16 velocity layers across the entire keyboard. And the playability is absolutely great. There's nothing worse when you're using a piano library and the dynamics just feel a bit uneven, and this is spot on. Now, I was playing quite softly then, but you can play a lot harder. So I'm properly hammering away at the keys there. And you get this great dynamic range. And it's just incredible. Now, let's talk about the layout. So if I click on Hammers and Waves, I'm in complete control because my controller is configured in terms of velocity curve to work better with that, but obviously in Contact it's the same as well. And there are 4 different instruments. So you have the acoustic, you have the chimes, you have the electric, and you have the prepared. So if I go back into the acoustic and I click on the All Banks, I can see we have a Modern Grand, a Relic upright, and a UX upright. And if I click just on the Modern Grand, I'll get patches which are derived by the Modern Grand. So if I go for, I'll go for the first one. And these are the sound design patches. Also, if you click on the sound design, the patch name, you can just scroll through all of the different presets and just choose one. So let's go, why not, retroactive. Sounds absolutely gorgeous. I'll just move on to rising tension. So you can already hear this is more than just 10 keyboards beautifully sampled using robots. The sound design is absolutely great. Now you can preview any track, anything you want to. I've actually got the preview set up on complete control, and you can sort by, let's say you just want rhythmic loops. So here's cycle loop. I'm trying not to do all my demos in D minor, which I seem to do by default. I don't know why. Very lo-fi. Sounds ace. Let's go clock strikes. Play the D straight away. Let's go D major. There's my player note, jumper note, player note triads going on there. And yeah, clock strike sounds absolutely wicked. So let's just move on. Let's play one more. King's Gambit. Sounds great. And then you have all these different characteristics you can go with. So let's say you just want to go intimate. Here's dusk. Lovely sort of pad effect there. Start her. And you get the idea. So you could spend literally hours and hours and hours just going through these different presets. And as a preset machine, there is so much to choose from. So scrolling through, this is all the presets associated with the Modern Grand. So let's click on the Relic upright. Now the Relic upright, that's going to keep on going on. It was my my sustain pedal got stuck. So if I go on the Relic upright, So as an organic instrument, it sounds great, and the sampling of all of the instruments is absolutely brilliant. So what I'm going to do is just play through a couple of presets for each of the instruments. So I will be loading up the different categories, so the chime, electric and prepared, and I'll start each one with the organic instrument and then move on to a couple of sound design patches. But you could spend hours playing with this instrument. In fact, I have to confess, I sat down to do this review about 5 hours ago, and I just kept getting lost playing different sort of piano parts and mess around with the sound design, and the time just got away from me. So I'm going to turn the mic off and let's go for some demos. So that was a pretty good blast through the different presets, and I have to admit, I absolutely love the organic instruments as they've been sampled. This Celeste or Celeste, I've covered this in a previous video. Yeah, sounds gorgeous. And again, it's all down to that dynamic range, and you can really hear just the quality of sampling that's gone on. It just sounds absolutely impeccable. And then it brings us on to the sound design. So let's just go Ghostly Hollow. Why not? And this is where it starts to get really, really interesting. So I'm going to use this patch to just quickly go through the features. Now you can see the mod down the bottom isn't actually active. So to control any of these, all you got to do is just click on the name. So there's the mod. If I wanted to use this modulation, which is volume, pan and pitch, you just sort of bring it up. You can change the panning. Oh no, that's down to tempo. But nothing's actually selected at the moment. And you can obviously adjust the volume and the pitch. Now you notice you have source, swarm and fractals. And we have them across here as well. Space is the reverb. If we look at the swarm uses an XY pad, and this is the granular synth. I'll just turn the mod completely off as we're not using it. There we go. So you can move it around. If you have an XY controller, you can wiggle it around. Just to stay in a chord. There we go. And you can change the intensity amount. So let's say we have a lot of intensity. I'll bring up the swarm, which is on the mod wheel. A bit more. And you can see the animation going. This little sort of shadow. And we can adjust that to tempo sync everything. So let's say 1 to it per bar. And now you sort of get into that really awesome realm of sound design, and you're just sort of messing around as you do for hours. So some really cool stuff going on. And you've got your ADSR going across. So that's absolutely fine. You can adjust the textures. I believe is how many textures. And the cool thing is, if you're not sure, pop onto the Skybox audio website and there's some cool little videos. But for this kind of stuff, I like to just mess around with it until I find what I like. And you can change the amount of width. Oops. You can make it completely mono. And then adjust the volume. And the pan and the pitch. So this is where I would really spend a bit of time. So that pitch doesn't seem to be doing much. There's probably something I'm doing. And then the reverb and delay. And if you want to add some more effects as well, Just click on the effects and then you can load up any of these different effects. And you notice this is on the Swarm tab, so you can have the Swarm effects, any of these, and you can have up to 4 slots at the same time. And then for the source, which is our Celeste sound, you can add effects just to that, and then fractals, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Let's just go into the source. And yeah, again, you've got all these absolutely ridiculous, I say ridiculous, just so much control and things you can mess around with. And I've spent hours with the instrument just playing, really, really inspiring. And I'm not going to pretend that I know what every single thing does. But again, like I say, pop onto the website. In fact, I'm just going to go to, let's go Fairy Tale, which is a bit more like an ambient Celeste. Now this uses the fractals a lot more. And what the fractals are is the arpeggiator. So you can choose any of these different patterns. Also you can draw in your velocities, and your rhythms. Change that steps. That's where I'll just start fuzzing it up. Set it to how many. Some kind of skip. Humanize. Gives it a nice sort of staggery effect, as if we're not quite like a machine. And then also you can swing as well. And change direction, so you can loop it or just go straight. And you can shift it on as you see fit. I'm just going to reload the patch. There we go. So back to fractals. So you have all of this control. Then down the bottom it sort of generally stays the same. Animation, you can use the XY pad. The rhythmical denomination. Very cool. Change the volume of the strike and then the length of all of the notes. So you go very short to make it percussive. Then again, you've got the animation. So you set the length of the animation, the color amount. Get really wide, we'll keep it narrow, and then the shift amount. So there we go. So you get a much more varied sound. And then you have space, which is different types of delay and all of these different impulse responses for reverb. So absolutely lots you can go through. I'll put the deep freeze on. So let's go back to the source, and I'm actually going to quickly look up, using the website, exactly what the source does. In my mind, it was just the sound of the Celeste. However, I don't think it is, because it's actually not on. So, yeah. So yeah, I'll be back in a second. So it took just a minute or two to very quickly watch the video, and the videos on the Skybox Audio website are so useful. Straight to the point, don't have to go through loads of instructions, just find out what everything does. And the source is the instrument as it's recorded, and you just have all these ways you can tweak it. So you can change your microphone. So we're in a mid position if we just want to close mic it. Oh no, we're in a close mic. And then we can go far mic. It's very cool. So let's keep it balanced for now. You can further change the timbre with the colour. pitch shift. And then the shape's really useful. You can make it more staccato. Or make it more pad-like. I'll turn the hammer off completely. Actually, can't bring that down. So you can get some really, really cool sounds going on there. Then the octave will change the pitch by an octave. And then you got on the right hand side, you have the hyper realism. Actually, I didn't look at the realism first of all. The note is the note volume, so bring that up and down, and you can click on it, toggle it on and off, and then obviously the release. There you go, no release. Very short release. And a bit of a longer release. And you can change the hammer volume as well. So then all the controls down the bottom remain the same. But then, yeah, hyperrealism. So you have pre-strike, and if you turn it up, it'll actually tell you to set the negative delay on the track at 200 milliseconds to keep everything in time. So if I push it down, it's almost like there's a latency of 200 milliseconds. And then you can have strike. We'll have to look into what that does. Ah, yeah, so you can change how it's been hit. Very cool. So leather. I've got the volume up. Oh, yeah, so it is changing. If I could do bringing that up. There you go. Great, and you can do the same for the fractals as well by the looks of it, which is very, very cool. So click back on the source, and then you can adjust the velocity curve and add your effects. So if I click on this, we've got the compressor on already. And it's very important to mention as well, the during the demos there were some noises like crackling, and that is actually part of the instrument. It's not anything dodgy, it's just an effect. It's got like this really, really cool lo-fi effect, which I'm still yet to find how to apply myself, but anything like that you can actually remove yourself. And there's some subtle noises going on through the instrument, and you can even just add the ambient noise of the instrument being played. It's very, very subtle, but it adds to that realism. So that's a GUI, but obviously apply this to all of the 10 instruments and you've got something really, really fun to work with. The swarm is probably the part of this instrument I've spent way too much time on already. Absolutely love it. This is the granular synth part of Hammers and Waves, and yeah, absolutely brilliant. So Hammers and Waves does have a huge amount of content, and just going back to the different categories, I'm on the electric and I've loaded up the EP200A. I just love the sound of this instrument. So straight out the box. It just sounds absolutely stunning. Now, there is one point of note, is you can see as we load, the memory is quite intensive. So Filthy Mint Nasty. That's so cool. But obviously 0.83 gigabytes, and they're not all this big, but they will soon add up. But in reality, I wouldn't stack loads of these instruments on top of each other. For me, I'll be using a lot of this for, say, crime and tension, and then adding to like orchestral pieces. And yeah, the Celeste especially is going to go in there. But if I open the Suitcase, for example, sounds absolutely stunning, and you're not going to be stacking these on top of each other. So I personally wouldn't worry about the memory too much. And then, like I say, not every instrument is the same in terms of size. And then the prepared, I've just put a filter on, 8-bit echoes. And these are all out the box as well. So I've not found anything that's gone into the red or peaked, which is really good. I'm playing back at 0 dB. So sort of plodding around there. And again, this one's a little bit smaller in terms of size. So I can't help it, I just want to load one more. So we're on Dream Machine. And you'll know which instrument you're on. So I didn't actually filter it by the picture. So I should have filtered that into the muted Relic. And now these are all just muted Lyric. I think I'd have said muted Eric. I meant muted Relic. There we go. Not a bad name for a band though, Muted Eric. Anyway, gentle strings. And it's really cool. If you want to sort of get to know how the instrument's put together, you can just load a preset and then look at what's been added already or how it's been affected. So, yeah. And then if you want to just add your own, and just activate it. So you can turn any of these instruments into pulses as well. Which again is really, really useful, especially for sort of production music and modern composing, as it were. But even just for something like as a cool backdrop to play a piano solo over, these will sound absolutely ace, and they give motion to a music as well. So as you can tell by all the positives I'm saying about this instrument, I do absolutely love it, and it is hours and hours and hours, which will turn to days of just having fun, playing with different sounds, and seeing which sort of productions you can fit this into. So it's final thoughts time. Well, yeah, hugely positive. Now, is this my go-to piano? We all have our favourites, I'm not going to lie, and this is right up there with my staple pianos now. I do have one specific go-to, which I won't mention, but this is giving it a serious run for its money. But in terms of my top 3 pianos, yes, certainly. And that's just talking about the pianos. The other keyboard instruments are absolutely great, so much fun. To use in cinematic music is going to be, yeah, just really, really cool. And just playing around with the sound design, and of course whatever instruments you create, you can save your presets as well. There's a handy little button just there where you can save everything, and it's just got so much content. And I love instruments which just kind of have infinite possibilities. You're not just sort of stuck with what the developer's given you. So yeah, this is a huge recommendation for me. Now, depending what kind of music you make, I'm not a piano player, it's not my first instrument, but of course we use pianos all the time, or keyboards or MIDI controllers, and this just makes it so much fun. And I'm just going back to the initial point where Sky Audio got this so right, sorry, Skybox Audio, using the robots, and I love saying that robots were used to play this. I don't know why, it's just really, really awesome and something different. But this is where it's right. It's 16 velocity layers, and when you play these instruments up and down, whiz around, it's gonna just be a joy to play. It's going to sound so realistic, and you've got no awkward jumps, and having the core instruments spot on is the perfect foundation for everything that comes after. So do I recommend Hammers and Waves by Skybox Audio? It is a resounding yes. Go out and get it, you will not be disappointed. All that leaves me to say is thank you so much for checking out this first look of Hammers and Waves by Skybox Audio. Believe me, this one could have gone on for hours. It's such an engrossing instrument, you could easily just lose yourself in all the sound design potential and just presets this instrument has to offer. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave a thumbs up and pop a comment down letting us know what you like about the instrument, how you use it. If you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel. It really is just growing and growing and growing every day, so thank you so much for that. And check out our other videos on YouTube, and then pop over to samplelibraryreview.com to check out everything that is going on in the world of virtual instruments. It's been a fantastic summer for instrument releases. It's coming to an end now, so until we meet again, have a great time.